Imagine day in and day out, you're living a life of pleasure, scrolling down all of your notifications, going onto Instagram and Reddit and...
Hello? Oh my god, Stacy, how are you?
Right now is a very special, quite emotional chapter of my life. Behind me is beautiful Thailand. I'm in Koh Samui. Someone fucking write it up on screen for me, please. And this trip that I'm on right now is something that I've looked forward to for 2 years. Because 2 years ago, I was doing all of the bad habits that you could think of. I've told my story multiple times in the videos that I've made that I was living like a total Jeffrey. I was making all the wrong choices. I was trying to get as much pleasure as possible. So I literally used to wake up and start smoking weed immediately. I've said that in so many videos, but I don't think you can grasp until you really visualize. Imagine yourself literally waking up and smoking and taking drugs as soon as you wake up, and then continuing to take those drugs up until you go to sleep. When you're getting high all the time, you're not even getting high. You're just maintaining like a shitty existence. And I did the same thing with video games, and a special bad habit of mine was binge eating junk food. It used to be so fun. Me and my girlfriend, we lived together. We would hop onto like Deliveroo and Uber Eats, and we would order like delicious desserts to come to the house. And you know, when you've got them on the way, it feels so like fun to wait for, so exciting to wait for them whilst we would be playing video games. And I lived like a life of comfort. Total comfort. By now, a lot of men know that that isn't a good thing. Say this with me, men grow through discomforts. So I ask you to be introspective right now and ask yourself, how much discomfort have you faced over the last 6 months? Because Adonis wants better from you. Adonis says that when you are uncomfortable, that is a good thing. Why? Because being uncomfortable literally shows that you are outside of your comfort zone. And you remember all of those like cringy Instagram posts which say, make sure you're outside of your comfort zone. Well, here you are. When you stay inside of your comfort zone, when you indulge in the pleasures that you already have been for a while, you do not grow. You don't get any kind of benefit. You get like a momentary like stimulus, like pleasure. And it only lasts up until like you stop doing that activity. But you can probably relate to this because after a while of like doing that bad habit, that bad activity, it loses a lot of its enjoyment. That's why video games aren't fun for a lot of gamers anymore. Loud ass bike going past. I said this to my friend Sam, so I'm traveling with two friends, and my friend Sam has been like a total Jeffrey when we met. He's my first video editor, and I've really seen him like come out of his shell and develop as a man. And on this trip, he's literally, okay, we started in the UK, we flew over to Thailand, which is about as like far as you can go in the world. And this is the second time he's ever went on a plane. The first time was literally 2 weeks previous to this trip. So we were like getting him sort of ready for this trip. Oh, and there goes my light. Bear with me whilst I have this new setup. Hope the wind isn't so bad. Bitch. This light's pretty fucking trash, bro. And Sam just yesterday has said that he's been so uncomfortable here, and he thanked me and my other friend Nabil, who we're also traveling with, for being patient with him. And I said to him that you facing discomfort is the point. That's the area of growth. That is not a bad thing. That is as good of a thing that is possible. You're a young man watching this. You have to understand that the message of Adonis, the best part of you, the ultimate man inside of you, it is to face discomfort so that you can achieve those greater goals, those dreams that you have. It was 2 years ago to this month that I discovered like digital nomad trips. I was online, bro. I was broke. I was working a part-time job in a homeless accommodation. I was working night shifts. And I remember seeing like these videos of like these like young hip guys who had like MacBooks, and they'd be like traveling around to like different countries, and they'd just be like doing work online, and it seemed so fun because I had been to Thailand for a month just on like a holiday previously, and I thought, wait, it's actually so like, it's so cheap here, it's so affordable here, it's so beautiful, it's so nice, but you can't obviously stay here like for that long because usually to travel you kind of need to like make money first, then you use your savings. But this new way of like making online income means that you're so free to go wherever you want and to stay however long you can afford to, as long as your business keeps making money. That was my goal that I set 2 years ago, and I'm here now. Right now you can't see, but it doesn't do it justice, but there is so much beauty here, not just for the scenic view around me, but especially with the people. Because at least for me, like the people, how warm they are in a place is so important. I love being around people who are like smiling, who are so friendly. And when I've lived in previous places, like I've lived in the UK, in Manchester, when I've lived in cities, it isn't the same vibe. Like people walk past you, they're fucking AFK. People walk past you and they literally like don't even acknowledge your existence. They're like kind of pretending that you don't exist. They're not looking at you. They're looking directly forward in a mind of their own because they don't meditate, because they're always overstimulated, because they're thinking about the past or the future. And I used to be one of them. You used to be one of them before we started self-improvements, before we got onto holistic self-improvements. Since we landed here, like maybe it's cringe to say, and like everyone's gonna, oh, this is so cringe, but like truthfully, bro, like I kind of feel like a Chad here, and it's stacked against like me and like, you know, my my brown skin and everything. In Thailand and Southeast Asia, generally like white people kind of like are more seen as attractive, so you've almost got like a disadvantage if you're like Pakistani or Indian. But the amount of attention I've been getting here is, man, it feels a bit like, you know, cringe, a little bit vulgar to kind of like talk about intimate parts, but like I think it's so important because just a few years ago, like I wasn't confident at all. And quite frankly, I will tell you the truth, because many people don't actually admit these things. Like, I wanted to be like a Chad. I wanted to be like that attractive guy that, like, you know, girls would like turn their heads to go and see. Girls would like, you know, shout at across the street, like they'd call. That's exactly what's been happening here. The first day we were here, we were eating food outside, like in the sun, and I was wearing this kind of like sleeveless vest. And two girls came up to me and like, you know, fully holding eye contact with me. And one of them just like stops and said, oh, like, we've seen you here for like the last 10 minutes or something. And they just wanted to like speak to me, and like they were like kind of speaking to my friends, but like they were fully like speaking to me, asking me questions and stuff. And I take down like one of their Instagrams, and I met that same girl just yesterday. Like we went to the beach, went to our pool here. And then after those two girls, so we're still eating, right? After those two girls, I promise you, bro, they leave. Within literally minutes, another two girls walk past, and like one of them's holding eye contact with me, like this short little blonde girl. And she's eating like a bag of crisps. And I feel so fucking confident I did this. I literally just kind of, instead of, hey, how are you? Like, I literally just kind of like stuck my hand out. I was like, yeah, give me one. So she comes over, gives me a crisp. I'm eating it. And I go for like a handshake. And it's like the funniest thing ever. This cute little girl, she's about to go for it. Then she like looks at her fingers, which has got like crisp dust. And she just pauses for a second, like contemplating, should she shake my hand with it? That was just really funny for me, man. And I spoke to her, but she was like really shy, but she was very attractive. And she's kind of like shy, so she's a little bit embarrassed or something. And so she starts kind of like walking away as we're saying hello. And then she like decides, okay, she's gonna walk away because her friend's already walked. And she kind of shouts out something that's really been in my mind, which was like, but you're really attractive. You're like a model. Now that might not mean much to like some other people, but to us, like young men onto self-improvement who have wanted to improve themselves, especially with like the modern day things which are seen as vain, and we're not supposed to talk about these things. We're not supposed to say like, yes, I want to be more attractive. I want to attract more of the opposite sex. You're not allowed to say this because it's seen as like cringe or somehow gay. But yes, 100% I do. That was my goal 2 years ago. I wanted to become more attractive. I wanted to become more confident. I wanted to become like higher up in the social hierarchy of men. I admitted these goals to myself. That's how I was able to make progress to get to this position that I am now. And I'm not going to stop. I was here with my friend Nabil and we were looking around saying like, oh, you know, this is the life. We're so glad that we're here. And he like fully got serious with me. And he was like, Hamza, don't get complacent. He really knows a lot about my life and he knows what this trip means to me. And he said, okay, this was like your big goal. This was like the thing to symbolize your success over the last 2 years. Don't get complacent. Keep looking upwards. Because right now, like, I feel amazing. We're in a very, very nice villa. Beautiful views around. Like what you can see right now doesn't do it justice, but we have beautiful views around. We've got like motorbikes. We've just been living good. We've been training hard. We just did gym and Muay Thai today. And life's good, man. But I know for a fact that if I get complacent, I know for a fact if I say, oh yeah, you know, goal achieved, so I'll stop here, like everything will start going downhill. And I've done that previously. So I'm not going to stop. But it's a beautiful position to be in, man. The YouTube channel is doing really well. We have 460,000 subscribers. It goes up by 1.5 to 2K per day. The level of like clout that I have these days is like, it's very impressive. I've never been one for like, you know, like, oh, like clout and shit. But like, we all know like it is kind of like a nice thing to have in terms of like impressing people, in terms of like, you know, showing your status and the life that it can get you. Sam and Nabila downstairs like laughing around and we were just like freestyle rapping and stuff, and like I feel so good, man. I really, really feel so good. This is what 2 years of just trying to be like, this is what 2 years of trying to be more like Adonis has led me to. So beautiful, because if I think back 2 years ago, the life that I was living, it was so weird. Like I was living a life full of indulging in pleasure, in fun, and I am having more fun now. You can probably relate to that. In your, like the previous chapters of your life when you were more Jeffrey brained and you were doing more Jeffrey activities, more instant gratification, you're only focusing on having fun, playing video games, watching Netflix. It's like the level of fun you were having doing those fucking Jeffrey activities was like a 4 out of 10. Whereas after a while of being on self-improvement, of trying to be more like Adonis, taking Adonis's wisdom, it's like your fun level is like 6 out of 10. But what's so interesting is that you're not particularly like trying to have fun, like trying to, you know, indulge in pleasure. You're doing the good habits. You're meditating, you're journaling, you're exercising, you're speaking to more people, you're going out in nature, you're jumping over puddles. It's a win-win. It's of utmost importance that you continue following Adonis's principles, that you continue taking the Adonis path. Every decision in front of you has a Jeffrey or an Adonis path. Every single decision. If you can have this level of like consciousness and awareness through the decisions you make, you will do so well in life. Literally just picture Jeffrey, Adonis, every decision in front of you. Then take the right hand path. You can subscribe if you want to, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.
Oh my god, and you know what happened yesterday? When I went to the party, I got there right and she had the same dress as me. And you know what she said to me? She said I should take my dress back. What a fucking rude bitch.